Yesterday, I talked about the question of spirituality. I want to piggyback on that again today because, well, I think there's only two things you can be, either spiritual or carnal. I don't know if there's another. Perhaps there is. Perhaps you can be nothing. I don't know. But you're going to feed, I think, one or the other, your spirituality side or, well, your carnal side. In Corinthians, Paul talks about communion and he says, about breaking the bread and the blood. Well, he also says, do not take it unworthily, because if you do, and those who have, that's the reason why some have been sick and have died. And I thought about that, and I thought about the idea that if we're feeding our carnal mind, our carnal body, that we are destroying it. We're destroying it, and that is causing some of the sickness and other things that are going on. Yet if we're feeding ourselves spiritually, it's a better thing for us because it's for our spirit and our soul. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're following after Christ or not. If you're spiritual, I believe that God will call you into that place of relationship with Him. It is the important part of feeding your spirit, your soul. Carnal doesn't do that. Carnality feeds the flesh, and the flesh will die. And the spirit goes on, the soul, all of that. And so that's the question. What are you feeding? What are you feeding? What's going on in your life? And I think sometimes we can be feeding the spiritual side and the carnal side at the same time. Or maybe it's just one or the other, and we flip-flop back and forth. I want to be a spiritual person, but my flesh gets in the way. And even Paul said that. Paul said the very things he desires to do, he doesn't. And the very things he desires not to do, he does. I get that. I think you do too. Well, I want you to think about that today. Think about putting that old man aside, that carnal man, putting him aside, and start feeding that spiritual side of your life. Think about that, would you? Hey, until next time, God bless.